The lesson commenced in the classroom, with the instructor lecturing on the impoverished scholar and the foreign exchange pupil. She further elaborated on the subject of magic and its relationship with chemistry. After a time, the teacher paused, her gaze settling on Veltol. "Is something amiss?" she inquired. "Why are you staring at me so intently?" He replied, "You ought to be jotting down notes from this presentation." Veltol confidently assured her, "Have no fear. I've committed everything to memory." Putting him to the test, the teacher asked, "Recount the events of the year 722. A train derailment, and the tale of a gentleman named Railroad, the royal mage of the Rostan kingdom, who descended into madness during a research endeavor. This transpired when the essence of a conjured hero possessed his physical form. It was a veritable disaster," Veltol concluded. The teacher interjected, "Very well, that suffices. It's evident you're well-versed in the subject." The class was amazed, as if Veltol had actually been alive in that era. The scene transitioned to Veltol's companion, Machina, as she was dining. An unusual lad with prominent, goat-like ears drew near, stating their interest in Veltol. He proceeded to make some impertinent observations, until Machina rose in anger, cautioning him, "Mind your language, or I'll knock you unconscious." Veltol then intervened, "Can't you tell I'm attempting to savor my meal undisturbed? Yet here you are disrupting it. What's your issue, pointy ears?" The boy retorted, "Pointy ears? And who are you to speak, imbecile?" Veltol responded with a smirk, "Those lesser than you recognize their superiors, therefore introductions are unnecessary. I've already made my presence felt." The boy then revealed himself as Albert, the Hegram family's firstborn son. Veltol dismissively replied, "That signifies nothing to me. I'm unconcerned." Veltol then continued, "I recall your grandfather vividly. He was quivering before me during the Stambold conflict. He resembled a frightened rodent." Albert, enraged, yelled, "How dare you besmirch my grandfather's honor with such falsehoods?" Veltol calmly responded, "These are not fabrications, but rest assured, I don't wish to embarrass you publicly. Your aptitudes are already the most efficient here. How can someone of your standing behave so presumptuously?" Albert, furious, proclaimed, "Very well. I challenge you to a single combat. We shall see who's truly arrogant." The following morning, Hajiki sat alone in the sparring area. Machina and Takahashi approached and conversed with her, discovering she was ostracized due to her lack of magical prowess. They suggested she enroll in a program to study magic fundamentals, assuring her that she could grow significantly stronger. Just then, their instructor, Maggie, arrived. She was tasked with officiating the contest between Veltol and Albert. Veltol addressed Hajiki, saying, "Observe this match between myself and that simpleton. Victory is assured. Relax and witness the spectacle. By the time you've finished your tea, I'll be victorious." Albert grinned and countered, "Don't celebrate prematurely. I have some unpleasant tidings for uninformed students like yourself. This academy evaluates its pupils' levels via mana emission, mana control, and overall mana reserve. I am the sole pupil in this institution with an ALSI ranking in all three parameters. Put simply, no one here can vanquish me in magical combat." Now it was Veltol's turn to solidify his self-assurance. He turned to Albert and declared, "It wouldn't be equitable to engage you directly, so I wish to add a stipulation to this duel. Let us make a solemn oath. If I'm defeated or even budge a single step, I will comply with any demand you make. But if I triumph without shifting an inch, you must cease all communication with Hajiki, be it in the classroom or elsewhere." Albert concurred, proclaiming his word was his bond. Veltol answered, "This isn't merely a pledge. It's a vow of nobility. You understand the weight of this commitment." Albert confidently replied, "I swear upon my name, Albert, that I will honor this agreement." Hajiki, overhearing this exchange, was enraged with Veltol. "Albert is exceptionally powerful, and at the pinnacle of this school for a reason," she exclaimed. Machina soothed her, "Don't fret, that fellow doesn't have a prayer. Veltol will undoubtedly prevail." The contest commenced with Albert invoking a spell. Veltol smirked, taunting him, "I trust you won't disappoint me with such feeble magic." Exasperated, Albert resolved to utilize his most potent spell, Majoro. The match official cautioned him against it, warning that it might undermine the duel's objective, but Veltol interjected, "Don't intervene. This forms a part of his education." Takahashi remarked, "Veltol appears quite enthusiastic. He hasn't participated in a conventional magical duel like this in a considerable amount of time." Albert unleashed his ultimate incantation, aiming it directly at Veltol. To the astonishment of all present, Veltol intercepted the assault effortlessly with his bare hand. The spectators were dumbstruck. No one had anticipated such a display. Veltol calmly addressed Albert. This wasn't an insurmountable feat. You may become a formidable adversary after 2 more centuries of training. For now, however, your mana generation and ether manipulation are remarkable for a human of this period. I can only attribute it to your diligent daily exercises. He continued, you merit a reward for your dedication. A genuine opportunity to comprehend the true essence of magic viscerally. Veltol then cast his own spell, striking Albert with it. Hajiki, bewildered, inquired, what did Veltol do? Machina explained. He discharged a concentrated surge of mana. It's an honor for Albert to personally experience Lord Veltol's mana. He's just a mere mortal. Hajiki retorted, that's simple to pronounce, but it's not something any secondary school student, or any human. Majoro declared, the victor, Veltol adapter. Following the duel, Veltol approached his companions and told Hajiki, I dedicate this triumph to you. Hajiki, still irritated, thanked him grudgingly and admonished, keep your distance, or you'll have a conflict with me. Then, she departed. Whatever, Machina spoke, adding, you can return home unaccompanied if you prefer. Takahashi replied, I can't depart without witnessing the treasure. Although I hadn't anticipated needing to accumulate all 3 insignia to unlock the strongbox, it appears we're constantly encountering obstacles. Why not simply use your magic to open it and conclude this matter? Veltol responded, that's feasible, but certain ancient seals are constructed to obliterate their contents if opened forcibly. Then Machina interjected, I'd prefer to avoid that risk. We must collect the emblems methodically and patiently. Thus, only 2 remain. Veltol added, I ascertained that through some brief investigation. Furthermore, the sphere was misplaced, and its whereabouts are now uncertain. We're searching for lost riches without any guidance. Takahashi inquired, are you referring to Azuki? Veltol confirmed, indeed, and according to what I gathered from Albert, she appears to be the matriarch of Reynard House, one of the 3 prominent families. Her family's decline seemingly correlates with the disappearance of the orb, their emblem of authority. Takahashi commented, this could prove beneficial in our quest. So that match was merely a tactic to establish a positive impression upon her. The Demon Lord has manipulated everyone to his advantage all along. That youngster simply annoyed me. That's what you claim, yet you ultimately assisted her. Veltol stated, we've finally reached our destination. Let us observe what the future holds. Later, Takahashi announced, welcome to the alternate face of Akihabara, the antithesis of the enchanted metropolis. This is the domain of desire and superficiality. Veltol remarked, the electric city. A mere glance reveals its density. The interior must resemble a labyrinth. The prospect of exploring this maze and gathering knowledge excites me. Takahashi replied, this is the inferno you're about to encounter. Legend has it that once lost within, it requires an entire day to escape. Will undoubtedly require a guide familiar with the area. I'm the Supergirl, knowledgeable in all things related to information acquisition. I'll escort you to all the prime intelligence hubs. They entered a cafe, and Takahashi requested a table for 3. Veltol addressed Takahashi, I don't intend to question your judgment, but can we truly acquire intelligence here? She replied, you're so innocent. The maid cafe is where diverse individuals congregate. That alone justifies a visit for information. Veltol responded, I was certain you selected this establishment for sightseeing. Takahashi retorted, you certainly enjoy making arbitrary comments occasionally. This place possesses an unusual ambience. I can't quite articulate it. Machina inquired, don't you find these prices exorbitant? Takahashi angrily responded, this is the cost of pursuing ambitions. This is the value associated with. May I? Veltol remarked, we have no need to purchase such aspirations. We had maids and servants attending to our every need constantly. She continued, although it's been a considerable period since I've indulged in such luxuries, the maids I'm acquainted with possess a somewhat distinct demeanor. One of my companions continually vexed the maids. Veltol interrupted, I recall Renard's words. They linger in my memory. Machina inquired, are you referring to her request for us to maintain our distance following our brief conversation? I sensed she was isolating herself from others. Pressuring her to speak would be counterproductive. We still have ample time, so we should remain in her favor. She didn't appear to be a malicious individual. I desire to befriend her. At that precise moment, the waitress approached them, inquiring if they required anything. But upon seeing them, she was utterly astounded. She turned out to be Renard herself.